previously on the Elevate With Us podcast. So I'm so honored and excited to welcome our guest today, Cynthia Stant.
Thank you so much for having me, Tanya. I really appreciate it. I'm honored. Every position I've ever had, I've never kept more than 2 years. I either quit or got fired. And also, they were never hiring. I want that. And I got in, right? I was one of 4 women in the world with this position. I was the youngest by like 20 some years. AKA, I went out to every single rep and said, give me your 50 worst accounts. Like that you hate going to.
So but that's so amazing. You wanted a challenge. You accepted the challenge,
a job,
and
dude.
you
like I came up with something.
You like figured it out. You were like, "Hey, I know this isn't happening," and you made it happen. You were like, "You're gonna hire me because I'm gonna fix a problem for you."
Yeah,
right. You got them business they didn't have.
Yeah,
rock star.
So
I
worked on day one, and I showed up like this, blonde hair, red lips, usually wearing cheetah, whatever. And I walked in there, and these accounts, y'all, they're literally like. They smell like mildew when you walk in.
Sure.
It's like a time warp. Like
it's like D almost sounds like dive. Like it's a
it's a dive bar.
You're a dive bar.
They literally
D accounts dive
they
bar.
have like one bourbon, one vodka, and
they're like watering it
bottled
down.
beer. Like right, like there's no wine, and if it is, it's a Moscato, like big jug.
Yeah,
like, it's like
box wine.
Yeah. So I walk in, and like I always tell the story, but like I walked in, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Cynthia, and I'm your sales consultant." That's what I said. I didn't say I'm your liquor rep. I was like, I'm your. They're like, what? No one has been in here in like 20 years. They literally are used to just like they order online and they hit like, I want one Jim Beam.
And they don't have like a person,
right?
They don't have a relationship.
I went in there and I like Restaurant Impossible. Like I changed their business completely. And I had to condense the story, but I was like, okay, these are your margins. Like I understand this. Like this is how what your competition is doing. Like we need signage. Let's get some 𝗕𝗏𝗄 up in this shit, right? Like let's make this
branded, make it pretty, make people say, oh, what is that? Oh, I want that.
Yeah, and like
that poster's gorgeous.
And so like all my people just started really taking off, like booming. Like and that's Friday night, my husband's like, Dana, where are we gonna go? I'm like, we're gonna go to my hole in wall bars. And he's like, he's like, what? I'm like, I need to give to my people, right? I always say this, like, if you're going to earn money, you have to earn trust. I didn't walk in there, I was like, buy my shit, right? Like, I helped them to build their business. So then what happened was, anytime I needed a favor, I needed to sell something to become I knew who to call. I stopped working. I was literally like working maybe 2 hours a day, and I was working from home. That's the cool thing about being a salesperson, right? Yep. Like, you have a pipeline, you build relationships, you know who to call, you always know. And I was always saving the day. Like, fuck, we're going to not make this deadline. We're not going to make this, I'm like, I got you. They're like, you with the D accounts? I'm like, duh.
So what it tells me, and it really, really relates to real estate, like, because it's sales. It's just sales or sales or sales or sales, right? It's the same. You are becoming known, and then they liked you and they trusted you. And that is the most important thing when you're working with strangers.
No, and not just that, I got them results.
Well, and you solved problems.
Everything.
The next thing I was going to say is they might not have known their problem. Like, they kind of knew it, but you brought it to their attention. You were like, hey, your margin is here. Would you like it here?
Yeah.
Oh, you want it here? Okay, this is what you have to do. And when that worked, that made you so believable and trustworthy that it just kept going because you were building relationships. It just circles back. So it's so important.
We are going to hop into
this. You proved yourself.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, the industry has called me the queen of sales. My friends, though, my colleagues, they call me the queen of connections.
I see that.
And that's honestly how the sales are made.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing really, really well. I was number one in everything. And now I have all this time. I was still not making that much money compared to what I want to. And I have a lot of time. So I'm like, okay, what else can I do? And at this time, I knew I was getting all of these results because of meditation, because of what I was learning from metaphysics, what I was learning, just understanding manifestation. And so I was like, I really feel called to teach this. I want to do this.
Okay.
So I hired a mindset coach. It was my first coach ever. It was like $1,500 a month. I was like, I'm not playing around. I want like somebody good. She introduced me to this woman. She goes, she's a business coach. She can help you to create this business you want. I was like, okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so I'm going to get somebody to help me.
Sure. Ask for help.
I hired this woman, and I just loved her. Like, I just thought she was so beautiful and talented. And she was a saleswoman, so I respect the game. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, I like her. And she was a mom, and she was an ex-NFL cheerleader, which I thought was so cool.
So cool.
Like, I tried out for the NFL team, didn't work, but it's okay. So I just really liked her. And she had a competition amongst her clients, and of course sales girl. I went for it. Yeah.
Competition, sign me up.
I won.
Of course you did. I'm not surprised.
Actually, I got second. That's the crazy part. I was so mad. I got second, but she was like, dude, you crushed it. I don't even know who you are. Like, she's like, I want to thank you. So she gave me a VIP day. And I was like, the first place was a laptop for $2,000. Her VIP day is like $10,000. So it was like, win, right?
Right, you won.
Well, I like met her in person, and I don't fucks around with time. So I gave her this giant folder, and I had my binder. I was like, okay, Orange tab, section 2, bullet 3. This is my 12-month plan. This is my 5-year plan. This is my avatar. This is my pricing, my packaging. This is my program. She was like,
whoa.
What? She's like, what the actual fuck? She's like, who are you? And she's like, how long have you been in my program? I'm like, a month.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? She's like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I've been in sales forever. I've always managed big teams. And oh my God. Like, there's a reason why I didn't win the laptop.
Absolutely.
Right? Like,
you
but
weren't meant to win
that
the
moment,
laptop.
the angels were like, I was like, oh shit. I was
All
like,
the lights came out.
I was like, dude, if I'm going to grow this business, it's going to take a while, to be honest. Like, I'm very intuitive. I saw it in her. I knew she was going to be huge.
You knew she was what you needed to get in the next spot.
And I knew I could help her.
And you knew you could help her.
So I said to her right then and there, I said, look, I'm supposed to be your salesperson. She's like, oh, hell no. She's like, you're a client, so that's really weird. And she's like, 2, she's like, I only work with interns. It's like not even the budget to hire you. And I was like, look, I'm number 1 in all my sales. I will quit that job. I will come work with you. I'll figure out how to sell on social media. I have no idea. I've never sent a DM in my life, but I will figure this out.
Gosh, you were such a risk taker.
And
it's so phenomenal.
Again, she wasn't hiring, and I sold myself in.
Oh my God. Love this.
So I did it. But the agreement was, if I'm going to work for you, I want to be in every conversation. Like,
okay.
I want to be the fly on the wall. I want to take notes for you in your meeting. And anytime you make a big decision, I want to ask you why.
Sure.
Like, I am going to be a business owner someday, and I will be like your apprentice, and I promise I'm going to make you sales. So she said, sure.
So she hired you for a position she didn't have.
Yeah. So I never
Rock
sent a
star.
DM other than asking my husband when we were dating to go to the bar. Because I found that. And so I just took what I knew from sales, knocking on doors, walking in, to understanding what I knew with intuition.
And who were her ideal customers? Like, who is she trying to work with?
Service-based businesses looking to scale businesses online through coaching, or like being able to sell the services online.
Okay.
In group settings, high-end, different tiers, very much what I do now.
Sure.
Of course. But so anyway, I just remember being like, okay, this is a lot different than going to a bar, because like I used to stand at the doorway, like, I'm not leaving till you buy this bottle.
Sure,
right?
sure. Like, because it's face to face, belly to belly.
People are like this.
Yeah.
They just like dip on you.
Or they
like,
just
oh,
ghost.
They
They're
ghost.
gone.
Exactly.
Gone.
They leave. And so I was like, okay, I understand. I can't treat everybody the same. So I turned in, and I remember asking God, whose life can I change today? And where's my money at?
Yeah.
Like, when I give, I'm allowed to receive. And I would just think about who I wanted to serve. And I could look at a list of like 30 people, and I'd be like, her. Those are the 2 people I'm going to call today. Like, I could feel them, Wow. And I would just so intuitively, I was able to figure it out. And of course, I did a lot of DMing and all that. But my very first month working for her, she had a program that was $450 a month. I did $670,000 in sales.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
What?
That was her face. That was her face.
That's quite a few sales. So, and how many was she doing prior to that? Do you have any idea, like, how much you scaled it?
So I think the most she's ever. I mean, this may not be accurate, but like, I'm sure.
That's okay.
I heard that before I came. This again, I wasn't there. That through another employee, that the most they ever sold in 1 month was 17 people. My first month, I sold 38, I believe.
So you more than doubled it. Pretty rock star. Pretty amazing.
So
beast-like.
I was flavor of the month, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got a vacation out of it, and I got all these promotions out of it. And then with all that money, what we did was we hired the salespeople, and that was my job. I always did that before. So I hired the sales team. I managed the sales team. I coached a sales team. And I said, do not make me a manager, though. I'll take a salary of the manager, but I want to still sell. I want commissions.
Still want commission.
I'm not making that mistake again, right?
Because you don't want to be capped.
No, I like commissions, right? So we then started blowing the fuck up. We got really big. 2020 happened. Okay, so I was only at that one job for like a year. So 2019 is when I started with her. 2020, we were going for like $1 million launch. Like we were so close. We wanted it 300,000, 500,000, 700,000. And when I say launch, it's just like an online conversion event, workshop, masterclass kind of thing. We did not get the $1 million. Literally it went to 2 million. Like when 2020
you just
happened.
skipped it?
Yeah, because everybody had to close and like their businesses and they had to come online, and we were already set up for success. We were already getting results. So like we became the go-to answer. But we're having $1 million launches. I'm the one coming up. I'm literally presenting during these launches. I'm like managing the whole team during these. I'm closing at least 50 people, each one myself. So we started getting really big as my intuition said that we were going to. Now, I did not expect a pandemic. I did not predict, like, I just knew that we were going to do some big things together. So all these people started coming to her and they were like, how are you making these sales? And she's like, Cynthia, how are we making all these sales? Right?
She's like, help me. How did we get here?
And I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing it. I know, no. She's like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. I was like, no. She literally pushed me. Next thing I know, I'm coaching all the sales for all of our 7- and 8-figure clients, having VIP days with them. We now have like 700 people on these coaching calls. And I'm like, hey guys,
700 people?
Slaying Sales Friday. Like my call was called Slaying Sales. And so I started like coaching. And what am I coaching? Just the things that I'm coming up with that are working well. And the way that I coach sales was, I was like, well, you have to use your intuition. Like you have to understand, like you can't spend all the time with all these people. You have to know your dream client and understand the frequency of that and how to track that. Like this is the internet, baby. It's a lot different. So I honestly was one of the pioneers when it comes to social selling. So in her words, she started engineering my celebrity, which I think was an accident for her because she ended up creating a monster. I fell in love with the teaching. It's one thing to make sales. It is so much more rewarding to teach other people how to sell.
I totally agree with you.
Holy shit, I fell in love with my life. I was like, and I was getting, the credibility and just knowledge. And like, I just felt like every day I was waking up excited and I was going to bed proud, and I was making a shit ton of money. I was making probably like, I think like around $350,000, and I'm like just turned 30. Right. It's pretty. Yeah, I was
pretty
like,
good.
okay, yeah, and I work from home in yoga pants.
Pretty amazing.
Like,
pretty rock star.
Yeah, from being like bankrupt to $350,000 in a year and a half, right?
It's pretty incredible. Like I knew your story was really amazing. I didn't know all the details of it, but I mean, you walk the walk and talk the talk, which is probably why people like to work with you so much, because you drank your own Kool-Aid. Whatever you've told people to do, you've probably done it.
I won't even tell you to do it until I've done it 10 times and mastered it. Yeah. So then what happened was actually, I can't tell you what happened. I wish I knew. I can come up with every story. But next thing I know, I got a phone call for some HR girl that I never even met that I was fired.
What?
Like I literally had 5 calls that day. And I remember my husband was walking in and I was like, he's like, what's wrong? What's going on? I was like, some bitch is firing me right now. Like I was like free.
So all that success and then you got fired?
I have no idea. We can come up with the reasons. I mean, I'm a businesswoman. Think about it. For how much I was making in commission, she probably could hire 10 new salespeople, right?
Yeah, but
just tell me that or something like that.
Yeah, just say, hey,
it doesn't matter. It really does. Like, I didn't do this so I could say it on a podcast 3 years later. But like the next day, I wrote her a letter, like a little card, and I just said, thank you. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I have a feeling you're not going to talk to me, but like, I'm so grateful because I learned what to do, but also what not to do.
Have you spoken to her ever?
Never once. Never seen her.
Wow.
I was really heartbroken for quite some time, but I'm completely healed now. I've actually saw her recently. I was like, she's beautiful. I hope she's well. I was like, holy shit, I'm healed. Wonderful. Like, time heals. I've done a lot of inner work, and I can't say that like, oh, it happened to me. Why did it happen? Because remember, I always wanted to start my own business. Right. That was my intention.
Right.
And God was like, I call it the feather, the brick, the bus. Now, I say God. You can say source, universe, higher, like whatever. It's a label. Okay?
Absolutely.
But I'm a God girl. I think if for me, be an entrepreneur, I had to become a God girl.
Absolutely.
I needed somebody to help me through this. But yeah, so I believe the feather, brick, the bus. I remember I always wanted my own company, and then things started getting really stressful. Like I missed every Halloween. I never kissed my husband at midnight on New Year's. Why? Because that's the 31st. You had to get your numbers in. Christmas vacation, like she's like, get in your room. Like you have to like.
Sure, it's the last day of the month.
I just had to take calls at 2:00 in the morning because if you're in Australia, like that's when you're available. Like, and I just got so obsessed, and I felt like I found myself, and I was finally making money. Remember, I was the girl in the mirror that had like the glasses from her bathroom. Like I just found this new identity, and I just loved it. But I was very much in my beast. Just go, do. And I really thought like if I make her dreams come true, then my dreams will come true. I learned in that moment that nothing outside of you is the source of your success or your happiness. that was like my loop I had to go through.
That's
with
so powerful.
everything. My husband was supposed to make our dreams come true.
Right.
I don't know why I thought that, but I did. Like this guy, our mentor, was supposed to make everything happy for us, right? Like, or like make our dreams come true. Like my job was going to promote me, but they didn't do it, right? Like, and then this woman was supposed to, like, I just was like, I stopped looking for people to make shit happen for me. And I decided I was going to do this. But what happened was the feather, the brick, the bus. In the beginning, okay, so you're missing little, not little, you're missing your kid's birthday. It's like, okay, that's a problem.
Yes.
But then that's the feather. See, that's like, okay, it's showing up because
Just
pain
like
is showing you that that's not what you're supposed to be. But, okay, so you ignore it. You're like, no, it's okay. I'm going to make it happen.
And
I'm
just
make it
this
work.
one
Like,
time.
whatever,
And next year, new year, new you.
That's the feather. Then the brick comes. The brick is like, okay, now there's starting to be controversy. You can tell there's some snickering. Some people, like some commissions are missing all of a sudden. Like, like shit like that. And you're like, okay, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Like, that's a brick, sweetheart. Like, pay attention.
It's big.
Until all of a sudden, boom,
You're fired.
the bus. So that's when I realized, okay, no more of this happening to me bullshit. Like, it's for me, by me. So I said, if I could do anything, what would I do? Well, I know a lot about coaching. Here's the thing, though. I loved sales. I loved business, but I couldn't coach it. I had a non-compete.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
I know a lot of people are like, oh, fuck that. Like, non-competes are no big deal. Like, you know
it's
what?
a big deal.
Okay, but you know what? I'm also not messing around with her. Like, she's...
Well, no, and...
I'm ethical. Like, I really believe in treating other people the way you would be treated.
How long was your non-compete for?
2 years.
So
2
to
years.
2022.
Yeah.
So to like last year.
Yeah. So that's why
Wait, because we're in 2023. This was till last year.
This is why this is all bonkers. So I got fired in September of 2020. It was September 16th.
September 16, 2020.
I know that day. So 3 weeks later, I had my first 4 clients.
Okay.
I started spiritual coaching, and it was really cool because I worked with very masculine women. A lot of my clients were attorneys. They were corporate, high-achieving women, and I guess I was approachable, and they were kind of coming out of the spiritual closet, right?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
I could see this woman in the boardroom, and yet at the same time, she's talking about these things that I'm really curious about.
Okay.
So I taught women how to master the 4 M's that came to me in the shower, as all good ideas do. But it's
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
master mindset, meditation, metaphysics, and manifestation.
Okay.
And so 4 months in, I created a 6-figure company. Less than 6 months in, and multiple 6 figures in cash. Like, I was like already almost at where I was
Where
with
you
her.
were before.
Right. So that was cool. I loved doing that. But part of me was like, I miss my sales though. Like, I really wanted that to go somewhere. But a lot of people were like, did you just create multiple 6 figures completely by yourself? Like, how did you do that? How did you do that? So all these people kept reaching out to me. They're like, can you teach me business? Can you teach me sales? And I was like, nope, nope, like not messing with that. Can't, no. But as soon as I could, the demand was like bonkers, you
Sure,
know?
because it was a no, or later, and they were ready.
Now, this is something cool. I would never share anything too personal. And again, I have so much love and so much respect for my old boss. I really do hope she's doing well. I'm forever grateful for the opportunity that I had and
Absolutely.
who I became out of that. I have literally no complaints now. In the moment I did, but now I'm like, it was one of the most beautiful things I went through. But I remember sitting with her as her apprentice, basically. And I said, what is one of the biggest regrets you have in business? She said, not starting my podcast on day one. She's like, because the way I've been able to monetize it, because like how beneficial it's been. So the day I got fired, the very next day, I cried all night, punched my pillow, screamed quite a bit. And then the next day, I went and got an LLC and I started the podcast.
And that's when you started the Inner Feminine Beast
podcast. Yeah.
Wow.
So what's really cool is we just found out this past month that the podcast now is top 1.5% on iTunes out of over 3.2 million shows. I just got reached out by FeedSpot. I cannot believe this. We are now #1 women in sales podcast, #2 for spiritual entrepreneur podcast, and #3, like legit trifecta. I found it this past weekend that we are women entrepreneur podcast, #3.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, but again, like that experience really helped me. And so so I went and I taught sales and it was amazing. Like it was really, really awesome. And now what's happening too, I'm making a lot of money in my company. Everything I ever wanted now, the dream board, the vision boards are just falling into place.
Sure.
And it's on my terms. And it's not by having anything outside of me. It's me showing up as my inner feminine beast. So truly, if you could define it, is the version of you that has the courage, the power, the strength, the clarity to get shit done and to see it through.
Sure.
And so I've literally 3 years ago had nothing compared to what we have now. I created a 7-figure coaching company. You know, back then when I first started my company, when I was fired, I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 kids. And I think, you know, I could afford more, but I never gave myself I was scared after the bank. Like I was scared. And I don't need that. I don't need that. Right.
Sure.
Like I would tell myself, I don't need that. That's success. Now it's like, I love sales because I'm like, I want that. I'm going to go sell something.
Sure. Absolutely. You can make it happen.
That. Yeah. And then, but it's not just go make money. It's I'm going to change somebody's life when I do it. Right. So, I mean, just going from a car that had 200,000 miles on it to like now driving a Maserati and a Cadillac. Like, I know it's not a big deal, but it's like, I'm a car girl and I've always been a car girl. Like, so like,
it's important to you. So it is a big deal.
And, you know, to telling my kids no all the time, to having them in piano and coding and soccer classes and Disney pass, like, it's just beautiful what sales has been able to do. And again, sales to me is the most spiritual thing. They go hand in hand. But the coolest part is because I've made the financial freedom that we've had as far as like being able to do the earned income, my husband is very real estate savvy, as you know, and he's like, okay, round 2. Like we didn't quit. We decided to do it again. And now he's really focusing on, he has a roofing company here in Jacksonville, Premier Roofing of Jacksonville. And then also he invests in our real estate. So he's building our passive income.
Sure.
So today right here, I keep forgetting how old I am. I don't know why. Like
That's
I think
okay.
so much has happened, but I was like, I'm 34 now.
34.
By 40, like 100%, we can be done everything if we want to.
Be retired.
Like, yeah, but like, I'm sure we won't be, right?
I think you'll never be retired.
Well, the cool part is like my son will be in college then too.
Yeah.
When I turn 40.
Super cool.
Right? So like all the things that grass is always greener kind of thing. Yeah. But it worked out really well. So yeah, so he has built our real estate site like significantly. I just got a report because like so many moving things are happening. But as of right now, this morning, we now have 20 residential units.
Okay.
111 storage units.
Okay.
And this month, we are closing on 46 storage units in Pennsylvania, 206 units in North Carolina. So far, we flipped 2 storage facilities already. We flipped a post office. That was really interesting.
This is so cool. So you know what I think is so neat is that you're not putting yourself in a box, right? And you're able to build multiple places of income. It's so neat.
Well, yeah. And then we have a triplex and a single family home right now too.
And so are most of the more like residential sides, are they flips? Are they short-term rentals,
we're all about
long-term
buy and
rentals?
hold. We started with the BRRRR model, which I'm sure everybody knows. But yeah, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did that at the beginning, and then eventually we did start flipping them as we're saying at the post office. It's kind of like Monopoly. We turned in like literally the houses for the hotels. But after
Love it.
These close this month, that'll be about $8 million in assets that we have.
Remarkable.
Within 3 years while starting the coaching company. So exactly what you said though, this is something I really stand for, and I think it's so important. I think a lot of people, especially in manifestation, are coaching like how to get money and like manifest money, and like I have so many wealthy girlfriends because of coaching. It's the smartest industry because there's no overhead. Like literally, you can be barefoot at home and make millions of dollars. Like it's
sure
because
really cool. It's you.
Yeah, it's you and a cell phone.
And literally, it's glued to you at all times.
I don't have a single employee, so you know.
Good for you.
Like nothing. And so I pay for Zoom, Google, and I mean I do have like a marketing consultant that helps me out.
But she's like a 1099.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
And so
my favorite thing to have is 1099s.
So you know, like I remember sitting recently with a bunch of women. I was like the only woman at the table that didn't make 8 figures in her coaching company.
Okay.
And I'm talking to a lot of them, and I'm like, okay, so you make $2 million a month in cash in your business. Cool.
Wow.
No, like there's a lot of friends that I have like that, right?
That's
they
crazy.
come to my events. Like you need to come to the next one.
Listen, I need to come to your event, and so do all of you. We need to find out about her events.
So,
because a lot of them are local to Florida, guys. I don't think you understand what a great opportunity this is.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's cool. A lot of ladies from
resource.
Well, my meetups I host in Jacksonville quarterly. Yep. That's for anybody and everybody, especially because we're going to do a lot with more like the manifestation coming up. Yep. I think I'm going to open it to men as well. But my big ones that I host once a year, the last one we had women as far as Germany come, 6, 7, 8 figure women. We were all talking about the industry, sales. Like it's what I live for.
So it's a lot of collaboration.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like my favorite thing.
But here's the thing. I was talking to these women. I'm like, so what do you do for your wealth building? They're like, well, what do you mean I make a shit ton of money? I'm like, no, that's earned income. Like regardless, like you have to go live. You have to post shit. You have to show up. You have to coach. Like that's earned income. So that makes you a rich woman. But like what makes you a wealthy woman is having your money make money. Like and I'm like, okay, Joey, my husband, sweetheart, I see in the near future us educating so many of these women about how to build financial freedom. Like,
yes,
that's what I stand for, because I don't need you to be rich. I want you to be wealthy.
And it's so funny. They are different things. We
Absolutely.
literally were talking to somebody about this the other day, and they defined wealth as like what you bring home, like the money in your pocket. But I agree with you. It's more taking your money and having it earn more money, because really being wealthy is being free.
Absolutely.
And having your money work for you so you have time, right? Time is the only thing you can't get more of.
Yeah.
And you don't know when your time's up. So if you just spend all your time making money, and you don't get to enjoy your kids, you don't get to do Halloween with them, you miss New Year's Eve with your partner, what is the money worth? Nothing.
Money is just a means.
It's just nothing. It's just a means. I need you to explain a little bit more about metaphysics, because I'm going to go ahead and guess that a lot of people only understand the law of attraction because that's really popular because of The Secret, and it's very accessible.
Oh, I love that you're asking us.
But explain to everybody what that means and how they can tune into it, or ways they can kind of sharpen that skill. Stay tuned for part 2 of this Elevate with Us podcast.